Only 3.5 trading days during this holiday shortened week, but lots of excitement on the horizon. We'll get not one, but 3 key economic releases this week. The JOLTS job openings on Tuesday, the FOMC meeting minutes on Wednesday, and the Nonfarm payrolls on Friday. We're also expecting import and export data for May, along with ISM manufacturing and services data for June, and a speech from Fed Chair Jerome Powell. Let's take a sneak peek at the week ahead. Lots of manufacturing data on watch for Monday, starting with the S&P Global Manufacturing PMI print for June at 9:45 a.m. This metric came in at 51.3 for the month of May, revised upwards from a preliminary print of 50.9 with a forecast of 51 for this month's print. Then at 10 a.m., look at the ISM Manufacturing PMI for June. Other ISM manufacturing data due at 10 include the June prints for employment, new orders, and prices. The month-over-month change in construction spending for May 2024 is also set to be released at 10. Both the 3-month and 6-month bill auctions are due at 11:30 a.m. Tuesday morning kicks off with an earnings report that could get interesting. MSC Industrial Direct. The stock, whose ticker is MSM, gapped down in mid-June after the company guided earnings per share and revenue well below analyst estimates for fiscal Q3 2024. MSC Industrial's revenue came in below estimates last quarter, with its net income dropping 21.9% year over year. Analysts are looking for $1.03 billion in revenue this quarter, compared to the company's own guidance of $978 million to $980 million. Let's see how the report stacks up. When the market opens at 9:30, keep your eyes out for comments from Fed Chair Jerome Powell, who's scheduled to take part in a policy panel as part of the European Central Bank Forum on Central Banking 2024. This will be Powell's first big appearance since his press conference after the FOMC meeting on June 12th. During that Q&A, Powell noted that rate hikes are not part of the base case for any FOMC members, though Fed committee member Bowman has since noted that she's open to a rate hike if the inflation situation does not improve. Given that the rate decision came out the same day as that cooler than expected May CPI print, it'll be interesting to see if Powell has updated his take on inflation or rate cut projections during his speech on July 2nd. We'll get our first big economic data release of the week at 10 a.m. on Tuesday with the JOLTS job openings for May. The April print came in at 8.059 million, dropping by 296,000 on a month-over-month basis to reach its lowest level since February 2021. Many of the decreases in job openings were concentrated in the healthcare and social assistance space, with openings in that sector dropping by 204,000 from March to April. Let's see if this area saw any improvement in May. The JOLTS job quits, which came in at 3.507 million last month, are also expected at 10 a.m. At 10:10 a.m., we'll get the RCM TIPP Economic Optimism Index for July and the API crude oil stock changes due after the closing bell at 4:30 p.m. Wednesday might be a half day, but you wouldn't know it from the slew of releases on the docket, starting with an earnings report from Constellation Brands before the bell. The alcoholic beverage supplier, whose brands include Corona and Modelo, beat analyst estimates for earnings per share and revenue last quarter and announced a 13% increase in its quarterly dividend. Beer sales were particularly strong in fiscal Q4 2024, rising 11% on a year-over-year basis, while spirit and wine sales dropped 6% year-over-year. Analysts are looking for $2.69 billion in revenue for fiscal Q1 2025. The economic data releases kick off right at 8:15 a.m. when we'll get the ADP employment change for June. Analysts are expecting this number to come in at 100,000, a drop from the 152,000 for the month of May. At 8:30, we'll get the imports, exports, and balance of trade for May. Exports increased by 0.8% in April 2024 to reach a total of $338.2 billion, while imports jumped by a hefty 2.4%, their largest increase in 2 years. Let's see how the June prints compare. Our next economic releases come through at 9:45 a.m. with the final S&P Global Composite PMI and Services PMI for June. Then we'll get a whole host of data coming through at 10 a.m., including the ISM Services PMI and ISM Services Business Activity, Employment, New Orders, and Prices for June. Also coming through at 10 a.m. are the month-over-month changes in factory orders and the factory orders ex transportation, both for the month of May. If you're looking at the energy space, watch out for the EIA crude oil and gasoline stock changes at 10:30. Then we'll get the 17-week auction and the 2-year FRN auction at 11:30, followed by the 15-year mortgage rate at 12 p.m. The market closes at 1 p.m. on Wednesday ahead of the 4th of July, but there's still one more economic event to look forward to: the release of the minutes from the June FOMC meeting at 2 p.m. The Fed decided to hold interest rates during the meeting and noted that they see only one rate cut in 2024, a sentiment that's been echoed by Fed officials like Kugler and Kashkari in the weeks following the meeting. During his post-meeting press conference after the June meeting, Fed Chair Jerome Powell emphasized concerns over whether or not the current policy is as restrictive as it needs to be. Let's see what kind of further insight we can glean from the meeting minutes. The market is closed on Thursday for the 4th of July. Enjoy your Independence Day. Lots of excitement to look forward to after the holiday on Friday morning with the release of the Nonfarm Payrolls data for June at 8:30 a.m. Analysts are expecting the metric to show 165 jobs added to the U.S. economy last month, which would be a sharp drop from the 272,000 jobs added in May. That May print was the highest NFP number in 5 months, exceeding the estimate of 185 jobs added. So we'll have to see if that June print can get things back on track. There's a lot more employment and labor data where that came from. Other prints expected at 8:30 include the month-over-month and year-over-year change in average hourly earnings, the average weekly hours and participation rate for June, the government, manufacturing, and private non-farm payrolls for June, and the unemployment rate and U6 unemployment rate for June. Then we'll get the Baker Hughes rate counts at 1 p.m. And that's the week ahead. Tune in with us at 8:30 a.m. from Monday to Friday at tradertv.live.